Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Betrayal at Krondor. We are working our way down towards Hawk's Hollow, so let's go ahead and get back onto the road, and we are going to be heading down this way a little bit. Oops. You zoomed in for some reason. Alright. Let's just cut through here. Did I already look at this? No, we got some spoiled rations I don't care about, and we've got some silver coins. Alright. Ah, this is in fact where I wanted to be. Sometimes the little hill bits, you know, they kind of blend in with each other. Okay, apparently I cannot go around that way. I went back to Lamut and sold some things, and it seems to be getting dark, so let's go ahead and camp. Doesn't do much for us. I also bought some more rations. But there is a chest over there. A pebble tumbled down the cliff face. Puzzled by the seemingly random event, Owen glanced upwards and back down at the ground. On closer examination, he realized the pebble was in fact a very dull brass button. Before he could cry out, ambushers fell from above. Aye! Oh, they didn't mean that. Okay. Alright, well, I want to get my accuracy up, so let's go ahead and flame cast. Thank you, game, for proving my point. You know what? I have quarrels. Boop. Boop. There we go. Alright, I am going to continue to boop him with the crossbow. Or not. Yay, missing. There we go. If it's low enough power, it doesn't have a big area of effect, so... Go ahead and move over here. There we go. Now you're down. And let's miss, because, you know, that's something we can definitely do. Boop. You don't want to, like, actually hit Gorath? It's a thing. At least I'm mostly hitting with the flame spell. Run away! Alright, let's switch over to Spare Thy Eyes. Don't believe they do anything when they are blinded. Let's go ahead and keep this up. Keep them blinded. That's not going to increase my accuracy any, though. Guys. Guys. There we go. He was alive. Unsure whether it was skill or luck that had won them the fight, Locklear set aside his weapon, though he allowed his dead opponent a wide berth while he checked on Gorath's welfare. He needed no further excitement for the day. Well, the day is just getting started, though. Party's abilities have increased. Alright, well, let's check your corpse. Let's see, we got rations. Let's go ahead and share those out. You can have the armor, you can have the sword. Other body is here, kind of hidden by the trees. Ooh, 16 coins. Not enough room. Well, what do we have here? Locklear gritted his teeth. While they had agreed the box should be opened, he was privately concerned the previous user might have left behind an unpleasant surprise. But no! 21 gold coins. Magical scroll with flame cast. Well, we can just sell that since we already have flame cast. But that is a pretty useful thing to pick up. It'll be fairly valuable. Let's get back out to the road. Okay, so we've checked all of that little area. The road is going to diverge here. Let's go ahead and bookmark. What happens if we go this way? There was trouble ahead. Unable to pinpoint the source of his anxiety immediately, Locklear motioned for a halt. Be wary, we may have wandered into a trap. We did indeed. You go ahead and rest. You know what? Alright, you don't seem to be gaining anything with that rest. You aren't either. You still are. They sighed in collective relief. We're through it, I think, Locklear said. But be on your guard. There may be other traps. I believe the trap only happens once, so we don't have to worry about that. But we don't actually want to go down this road. We want to go over that way. I just wanted to do the trap and clear it. Doesn't seem like we got any, like, skills for doing so. Alright, so we got a bit of a straight path ahead of us, but we did gain some skills. Let's see. Haggling, Locklear, because I was buying some things. Defense 43, accuracy 66, and nothing for Gorath. Disappointing. Well, Locklear swallowed hard. With his heart pounding in his chest, he watched the enemy creep closer. Fighting the urge to turn around and run like hell, he forced himself to remain calm, forced himself to show no fear, despite the feelings of near panic that threatened to overwhelm him. Oh, come on, we've been taking care of plenty of these guys. Hey! Owen isn't, like, in the middle for once. Also, you guys are kind of clustered up. Don't miss. Well, it still hit, so I suppose that's a good thing. I'm okay with that. Alright. I think with this many people, we do want to Despair Thine Eyes. What else do we have? Gift of Sung is health stamina transfer. And Invitation, I don't want to use that. Let's go for you. And I'm going to have both of you guys concentrate on that guy. There we go. Alright, let's switch back to Flamecast, and we're just going with the low level. Locklear. Locklear. Don't be missing here. Owen. Owen, don't be missing here. You're just sending these flame spells off into the ether, and it's fine. Nope, you're not allowed to go. There we go. Alright, back to Flamecast. Have a chance to hit all of our friends. Or just go whooshing off into the ether. That's the thing, too. The battle was won. Search the bodies. They may have valuable supplies. Party's abilities have increased. Well, let's check that out. Accuracy melee. Accuracy casting. And nothing. Oh, your strength increased. Didn't know that could happen. Well, we'll get some coins. No room for that. Might have to run back to Lamut. Jeez. Poisoned rations. Laying the parcel aside, Gorth carefully undid the length of string that bound the package. Inside were an assortment of salted sweetmeats, hard rolls, sliced apples, and strawberry tarts, each portion individually wrapped and sealed with wax, though a few looked as if they might have been tampered with. Yeah, I'm not touching that, that's for sure. Not enough room. Not enough room. Wrong thing. I don't know why I always want to click on that. Partly it's these lampreys that I gotta get rid of. Okay, well, you can take that. The armor is the more valuable thing. I don't know how far away I need to go to, okay, regular rations. Oh, I am maxed out on rations. Okay. Give you all that. And I cannot take the armor. Well, that's not going to help me that much. How many uses of that do I have? 7. Alright. Wondering if there is anything else that I can get rid of. Got 5 there. 13 there. And if it maxes out at 14... then I'm just going to have extras, and I can't do anything about that. I can get rid of that, but I don't know if I need the rope. I don't know if this book does anything. Oh, actually. I mean, it's not that much, but it is something. Anything else that I can combine? Let's see. That gives your weapons an advantage, but I don't know exactly what that is. How many uses of that? 7. No. Alright. Okay. Well, luckily his weapon crafting has increased. They might still be there if I run back to... If I run back to Lamut, but I wonder if there's a shop coming up. There is not. Alright. Okay. Back to Lamut we go. I could increase the steps. Unfortunately, that guy there doesn't seem to care about stuff like that. And actually, I forgot to increase my cycles for DOSBox. That does help with the movement. Let's just do this. Luckily, there's no time limit. It's not keeping track of the days. And yes, into Lamut we go. I mean, we really do want all of this money. And this guy does not have anything that repairs swords. So, keep hold on that one for now. Can you, yeah, there we go. Oh. Alright, that's not necessary. Just do that. Alright, I'll keep the 94. 84 you can get sold. 84 you can get sold. 90 can get sold. 77 can get sold. $140 sovereigns for it. Sure, I will take that. Can't repair any of this right now, but just get rid of it. Not a big deal. No use for such an item. Of course you have a use for such an item. You want it. Luckily, it's pretty quick. I suppose I should have haggled, but that would have been time. I can do that off screen. Those bodies might still be there, but I'm not sure. It's going to be another day. They are still there. Take those for now. Let's get off the road. So we've got a building here. Let's see what we got. Incense swirled, striding between the columns of the temple. Locklear made for the heavy wooden doors which had been sealed against the daylight and which preserved the privacy of any ceremonies in progress. Pulling a tasseled rope which hung next to the door, he awaited the response of the door warden. Temple of Killian. The fire was cold. Unnerved by the unnatural flame, Locklear decided to explore elsewhere. So the Temple of Killian. The meditation chamber was Spartan and strangely cold. seen all the colder for the heartless flame which burned in the holy censer. Why was Spartan capitalized? I mean, I know Spartan comes from Sparta, but still. The only bow that had been made to adornment in the temple appeared to be the strange pattern that had been etched on the wall. I mean, there's also some, like, paintings and stuff. And that for exit, teleport. The design was odd. I see the mandala interests you. Turning, Locklear noticed a thin young man standing in the archway, his hands hidden in the folds of his robe. It's totally a young man's voice. While the relations between the temples and the new Academy of Magic at Stardock have been cool, it is one of the treasures they have passed on of the Sarani magic. It has given us great mobility. Mobility, Locklear asked. How can a painting help you move? The acolyte smiled. It would be easier to explain by example. Tell me about a place you are familiar with, a place where you have spent a good deal of time. Locklear shrugged, describing the place he had grown up, the layout of the rooms, various things associated with his home. Very good, the man replied. As you described those things to me, doubtless you also experienced certain memories through which you were able to relive your past. In the same way, these mandalas help us locate a place. By memorizing a painting pattern on a pattern painted on the wall of a specific temple, we may will ourselves there. I could think my way home with this? No, the memory of your home would be too unfocused for you to make the attempt. But if you were to memorize this pattern, you could return here by recalling its image in your mind when assisted by the power of another temple. Locklear looked back at the mandala, lost in thought for a moment, his eyes soaking up the intricacies of it. I assume there would be some fee associated with moving between locations. The acolyte nodded. As simple as it is in concept, it still requires a great deal of effort to move even a single individual, though I am told that Sarani Great Ones move about with less effort. I believe Pug wished to restrict our knowledge of this in some ways until he had proven we could not abuse its power. A bell sounded. Abruptly, a darkly robed priest swept into the room and came to a halt behind Locklear. I was alerted that you might desire to use the mandala. A desire, perhaps, but I haven't seen any of the other symbols. I don't suppose you could go with us. I regret that I cannot assist you, the priest said. My duties require I stay here to guide others that wish to arrive. I am sorry. Alright, so once we've been to a temple, we can teleport around to the other temples, so it's basically a quick travel thing. Locklear pulled the curtains aside. The rear section of the temple was as dramatic as it was the meditation chamber. A large pool occupied the center of a lush courtyard and was hemmed in on all sides by an alabaster peristyle with climbing vines. Cloistered immediately off the open area were several arches, doorways either blocked by heavily woven curtains or choked with clouds of obscuring incense. Nearby, a gong sounded, and immediately a priest hurried out of a doorway, halting as he caught sight of the unexpected supplicants. So we can bless weapons, we can get cured, but I believe the cure only affects us if we have been knocked down to critical hit points. And we can talk. They were shown to a chamber. Here there were no flagstones or chipped tiles underneath their feet, but instead a thick carpet of grass, jeweled with dew. Oh, I hate the dew. It almost gets your shoes wet. At the far end of the room, a pair of yew trees overarched a throne of woven reed, upon which was seated a striking-looking woman, her shoulder-length black hair bound behind her back with a green cord. I am the High Priestess of the temple, she said, musically. Killian welcomes you to her domain. Come, be seated. Listening with keen interest to the stories told by Locklear, the priestess remained as motionless as a statue. At last she folded her hands in her lap and sighed heavily. That was most entertaining, she said. I particularly liked the part about the drunk, but I would advise you in the future to keep an eye on the food you eat. You shouldn't simply gulp down the first thing you find without taking a look at it first. Properly chastened, Locklear shrugged his shoulders and promised he would be more careful in the future. Cheered, he didn't mind when the High Priestess escorted them from the room. So that's kind of a tip to look at any rations that you find before you take them, in case they are spoiled or poisoned. I don't actually know what happens if you take those, but I imagine that the game will try to eat them as normal rations. I don't know if it'll wait until you got nothing left or what. But if you ever do take them and you have a stack of less than 14 and another stack of less than 14, then you know that one of those is bad. The priests bid them farewell. Leaving the lushness of the central courtyard, they passed back through the curtains into the deserted meditation chamber. And I don't know if the rations that you're holding onto can spoil. But you have another path over here. See where this leads. Just seems to lead to a clearing. I don't see any treasure chests. The ashes were cold. Wiping the grime off his hands, Locklear shook his head. Someone or something obviously set up camp here, but it's hard to say just when. Oh, hello. Also, I thought I saw someone over there. Maybe not. What do we got? Hey, a word chest. Alright. Goroth, scan the runes. When it comes in from sea to shore, 20 paces you'll see, no less, no more. Fog. The chest thumped. Satisfied the magical locks had released, Owen tipped open the large wooden lid. Hey, more lockpicks. I'll take those. And 118 silver coins. And a crummy sword. Now, I could leave things here in this chest. As long as the chest doesn't get reset in a future chapter, we could even come back and get it in future chapters, provided we have access to this area. But I will do that if it looks like I'm getting low on space. Got another pathway here. Oh, hello. Locklear gasped. Several heads spun in gray space before him as disembodied arms and legs flailed together with a sound, much like the clashing of kitchen scullery? Looking closer, he realized that the body parts were not in fact body parts, but instead very tarnished pieces of armor that had been suspended from the shop's rafters.
You there, careful! It may all come down on your heads.
A gnomish man approached from the rear of the shop, a match held tight between his fingers.
Should have knocked. Nearly didn't hear you from upstairs.
There's an upstairs in this building?
I can see why you came in, though. Your armor is in quite a state. Another blow to your suit and you'll look like those lot up there. I'll fix you right up.
If it's all the same, I'd prefer to buy an armorer's hammer.
I'm sure you would, but I'm not in the business of ruining my livelihood. I'm an armorer, and I make my living in repairs. People go fixing their own, and I'm out of business, right?
Joseph the Animals. So we can repair. That's all we can do. We cannot actually shop here. Everywhere Locklear looked, polished metal gleamed, as much a temple to war as any temple of Tith. The cramped shop contained a startling variety of armor. Locklear surveyed their equipment.
Which of your items would you like repaired today?
The vendor asked. Let's see. How much would that cost? The mender looked at the elven armor over.
I think I could probably fix this up for you, he said. Taking all the factors into consideration, I could probably bang this together for, say, 54 sovereigns. Still interested?
No. How about that?
I don't think I can help you, he said, returning the Mordell lamprey to Goroth. I do repair things, but this is a little out of my experience. I'd probably do it more harm than good. Sorry.
Is that going to be the same for all of these? Yes. Okay. How much for the sword? Okay, so he only does armor. 2 sovereigns, 1 royal, 14. Yeah, even if that got repaired, I would not get that much for it. So there's really no point.
I don't think I can help you, he said, returning the rations to Locklear. I do repair things, but this is a little out of my experience. I'd probably do it more harm than good. Sorry.
Oh, that was an accident. Like, it wasn't a misclick, per se. Locklear yawned. We need rest, he said, looking for a good place to camp. If we go much further without sleep, we might not be able to handle any unexpected surprises on the road. It's like, it's still daytime. Oh, no, it's not, actually. I guess that took time. Weapon craft is up to 65%. And Owen can go ahead and hold on to that. Alright, well, we might as well. Wow, that was a while. Okay. Alright, so, taking a quick look at the map. Just gotta go, south, really. Just get on the road. Alright, that seems to lead somewhere. We'll take a look at that, but we'll do that in the next episode. See you then, everyone.